Hi, my name is Garrett. I'm doing a miniature Spitfire 2.1 review. I've had about almost 30 days on this boot in the last couple years, doing backcountry and some resort downhill skiing. I'm using some Black Diamond boundary skis, going anywhere from slopey to tech and lots of powder if I can get it. So I'm going to tell you some things I like about these boots and some things that I wish were different, and recommended uses for the boot. To start off with, it's about 2.3 grams altogether. Each one's sitting at about like a little over 1.1 grams. The shell is insanely light. One of the lightest boots, or probably the lightest boot I've ever used. In that fact, it's amazing. Touring is awesome. Going uphill on these things, it's just like, wow, they weigh nothing. And it really makes me feel like I can have some more robust equipment for my skis and my bindings if I'm going to have some lighter boots, and it makes touring that much easier. We'll start off with the inside the liner. Liner's pretty simple. Honestly, it's kind of, for such an expensive boot, it's a pretty cheap liner. There's nothing amazing about it, no water repellent qualities, no real comfort feature kind of things that are going to be like, oh, like, it's really going to save me today, and it's going to keep me from rubbing on this area and really make this like an all-day boot. It's just really lightweight. It's pretty minimalistic. It's held up with these little drawstrings right here, wraps around, and has a little Velcro. Doesn't really stick super well, doesn't really fit super well, but it works. Inside of the boot or the liner, you get just a very basic little foot pad. The bedding is, it's, again, as minimalistic as can be. I think that's probably the point for these boots, so you can't really complain. But, it just lacks so much. If you want to be out all day touring, this bedding is just nothing. It feels like you're pretty much on concrete, and it doesn't really hold your foot in. There's no real concavity right there to just like really cup your foot for when you're skiing or touring, to like make you feel real suction in and like you're going to be climbing anything, but saving weight. So I actually upgraded and I got an aftermarket one. It's honestly, it might weigh like the tiniest grams amount more, but it's so much more comfortable. You can see the amount of foot holding I have right there for my heel, and it's just got so much more flexibility, and then also stability for the heel too, for when you're skiing and when you're hiking. I think that's one thing a lot of boots are moving towards, is having better product all around instead of having to do aftermarket this and aftermarket that. And unfortunately, that feels like what this boot is lacking on, is some where you have to really do some aftermarket like pickup. For the boot itself, you have an amazing range of motion, and the thing is super light, so that's awesome. It's only got a 2-buckle system. You got this one mini adjustable buckle right here that's got a little screw on the side, so you can put it on, snap, and then you can adjust from the mini. So pretty much to hold this bottom half of the boot, you just got that one buckle. So I feel like there's a lot of range of motion and play around your toes and around the heel. So for a full day's worth of skiing, you feel a lot of play, and that actually does do a lot of wear and tear on your feet. And a lot of times the way that this buckle construct is put, you can see there's actually like a little gap right here, and then all the pressure goes on right here. And there's actually a good amount of gap between the wire too. So all the pressure is just putting right on that side. So when you're going all day, and if you get more than 5 minutes of downhill on these boots, it feels like hell. Your feet are going to be super worn, and you just can't wait till you get to the bottom of the hill so you can just flip that up and go right back into touring mode, because there's so much pressure there. The system setup for the top is just a strap with kind of a buckle setup. It's got these nice little numbers on it, so you can tell like what kind of setting you want, what kind of pressure you want. That's kind of neat. And so you can actually tour with it open like that if you need to. And then when you want to go into ski mode, you can just flip that. The only thing I'll say about this is the system is kind of flimsy. I have, it is on this side. You can actually see if I bring that up close. This buckle has bent on itself from me trying to just close it when I'm out on the mountain. You know, I'll be up in tour mode, walking around, tour. As you can see, look at the flexibility on that. It's got great flexibility. Honestly, the boot itself, the shell, can move more than the liner does. Like I said, that liner just does not feel great when I'm compressing. It just does not have the flexibility that you want to find. Nothing right here flexes. It just it folds on itself. So it doesn't have that flexibility, but the boot itself is great. The liner, it's just, you can feel it holding you back. But then when you just try to like switch it back into tour mode, from tour mode to ski mode, and you flip that, you got to be really careful because it'll flip like that, and it's really easy to bend, like I said on this one where I had that little bend in. And then in order to really activate ski mode, I have it tucked on now, and then I need to flip forward. You can hear the knock, and now it's stable again. Let me lock that bottom one too. The one thing I will say about these boots is even in ski mode, there's still a lot of play up here too. Like I said, lots of play in the toe, heel, and a lot of play up here. Going downhill, I mean, if you're trying to really bear down into something, you can just see my foot. Look how much movement goes right there. My foot just goes forward. So you really lose a lot of confidence in the amount of skiing you're going to be able to do. And even backwards, if you're leaning back on something, there's so much back play. You can hear that. So much back play. I've been on really heavy days in Tahoe where it's like hard, wet, like powder, and it's where you really need to heel back on some of those things, and it hurts because you're not getting any of the support from the front right here. You're just putting all that pressure right here. None of this boot is holding you. And same thing too when you're doing downhill and some powder, and you really want to get maybe a little more nose forward so you can go deep on some turns. There's nothing here holding you. There's a little bit of this heel right here catching you, and then just this top strap. Other than that, it's this top strap and that one pressure point I was talking about. That's really holding that foot forward because you're flexing so much. One of the things I've done to address this issue is I do have like a secondary strap that I can strap on right here. That gives me a little more support. I still feel very lacking down in the heel area. Lots of play going on, especially when you're trying to jump around and do things. I will say that the extra little footbed I put in there definitely has adjusted and helped to fill out the area and make it feel more stable. The boot does come with some extra little filler gapper right there. Honestly, that can go in the back, and that doesn't honestly address my issue because most of that problem right here is just that forward flex, and it's very cumbersome when you're trying to get a really good downhill section in. So pros of this setup is super light. You can tour so fast going up, and your friends are going to be like way behind you while you're touring up. And it's a pretty comfortable boot when you tour up. But going downhill, you're going to feel really lackluster, like, oh, I just did all this work for all this amazing skiing, and you're not going to get anything crazy. So take what you will out of this. Not a boot that I'd actually really recommend. I'm going to be changing boots to something with more of like a 4-point buckle system. Sorry about the dogs. They're getting a little riled up. Take care.